So what is Longevity Fest or A4M? Why did we go and what did we learn?
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk about it. So here we are. I'm Hayley. This is Brian.
I'm Brian.
For those of you who don't know who we are, we want to share with you a little bit about the trip we had in Vegas, which if you've seen any of our social media lately, you've seen me posting these interviews that I did with a bunch of different people while walking around the expo at Longevity Fest in Vegas. So I just want to give a shout out to our friends at Wasabi Method, which is a pulse radial shock wave device that helps heal different parts of your body. You can use it anywhere, really. You can even use it down there. And it helps you to fix things that may be broken or hurting you. And so our friends hooked us up and got us there, and we are super thankful for that.
I think it'd be important to set context for people who are wondering about what you mentioned, like what got us there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this event, we really didn't know too much about it other than some of the physicians and the practitioners out there who we met at the event that we went before that, which was eudaimonia, which is pretty cool. They said, hey, yeah, we're going to be there. And as Hayley and I continue to live within the world of longevity, biohacking, and live our lives that way, we also are starting to understand where we can provide value for those that are interested and that we could help bring and live. And, well, because if people believe what we do, help them live, I guess more optimally is a word that keeps popping to mind. And there are people within our local community and friends of ours from around the social world that are asking us, hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? Why are you going there? So A4M was really cool, Longevity Fest. So it gave us an opportunity to see why a practitioner would go to this event and why brands would go to this event. And as Hayley mentioned, we went there with kind of big, wide open eyes and decided I think it was the plane ride there, is like, hey, why don't we just do some little short interviews with people and have some fun so we can ask people who are, like we've talked about, our messages, how do we get to the point through all the noise? How do we get to the cliff notes? Just tell us what we need to know. Mm-hmm. So Hayley ran a bunch of interviews that you'll be able to see, I think, either in our school or wherever else that it's posted. And I'll let you explain that. And you can see kind of these rapid fire questions that we asked some of these people that are actually either have been the trailblazers within the longevity and biohacking community, like a Dave Asprey or Ben Greenfield and some of the others, or some others that are either relatively new or are in it and are practitioners, users like us, or consumers.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're both. And then also the vendors who are actually selling the products.
Yeah. So that being said, we had this conversation on the plane, and on the way there, we're looking for a Best Buy so that we could get like a fun gizmo that we could use for our recordings. And so we did actually.
Literally Best Buy.
Yeah, we bought this fun gizmo on our way from the airport to our hotel,
yeah,
which really came in handy. Brian did like the quick and dirty, let me learn how to use this thing. You did a great job.
We things we're learning. I kept putting it upside down, but props to our Uber driver or taxi driver. It was cool about going to Best Buy, and there was nobody working there. But we got it, and it was successful.
For sure. So, and you'll see more videos to come on our Instagram where we're sharing them. We're also sharing them on YouTube Shorts, and we're sharing them in our longevity school. More information on that in our bio. So
we're gonna be looking to that way every once in a while because we provided ourselves notes.
Yes. So that's why we're like, okay, what's going on the wall over there? So
okay, A4M. You go there. You're a practitioner or you're a vendor.
Yeah, and there are sessions that you could go to where you can learn things. So it was education, and then we spent pretty much most of our time in the expo. And one of the things that I felt was really cool was we've now been to multiple events. We've been to the biohacking conference run by Dave Asprey. We've been to eudaimonia. We've been to
a healing event
in California. And so we've been sort of diving into this world of events and expos and things like that. And what I loved, and I went to also the menopause event.
For 6 months.
Yeah, for 6 months. Like we started going to these events in May of this year. And we have seen time and time again repeat people. And so, what I love most about it is that we're now part of this community and this culture of people that are drinking the same green juice and drinking the same coffee and are, believe what we believe. And to be surrounded by people that believe what you believe, it's so nice, and I find it to be really filling my cup. And I think you would agree that you don't want to miss out on any of them either. It's kind of filling your cup too.
Yeah, well, I always enjoy all the things. So it's like drinking all the hydration and trying all the devices. That's always fun. More than that, I think I've been very grateful and thankful for the core people that we've connected with, that either our energy or their energy, the what we're looking for, maybe manifesting it all,
Yeah.
kind of all connects.
Mhm.
And there's just great people that keep popping up, people that helped us. Like while we were at the event, we were doing one of our interviews and Hayley got all excited. And I would say I was excited about some of the interviews we did. And we forgot that the microphone was on one of the interviewees. And then they bolted. They had to go to a meeting and run out because a lot of the people, if you've seen the interviews, they have a lot going on. So they're like, hey, I'll do the interview as long as it's only that like 90 seconds or whatever. So yeah, sure, cool, we'll knock it out. And we're excited, we knock it out. And then all of a sudden we look left and right like, oh my gosh,
They're gone.
she has our microphone, and the video quality is so important on these interviews. So we went looking around and we probably did 28,000 steps that day trying to find Susan,
her.
right?
Yeah, Susan. Yeah.
Susan. And great example of great people we met. I said, Freddie, who's awesome. I forget.
Kimmel.
Thank you. Freddie Kimmel.
Beautifully Broken World on Instagram.
Yeah, yes. He has an incredible podcast.
Incredible.
You got to follow him. Just an awesome person. And he's always been so outgoing with his energy towards us. I said, hey, Freddie, I have a feeling. Do you know Susan?
Bratton.
Thank you. She's in charge of names. Susan Bratton. He's like, yeah. He's like, dude, any chance you have her cell phone number? He's like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, can you please connect her and Hayley because she has our microphone?
Yeah.
And Freddie's like, yeah, of course. And within 30 seconds after doing 28,000 steps around the convention, he found her. We went and got the microphone. But the point being is Freddie's awesome.
Yeah.
And we met some other great people. But continue, please.
Yeah. So we did get to see two people that have really been instrumental in our longevity journey, Dr. David Sinclair and Dr. Peter Attia both spoke at that event, and we were able to go to their sessions and hear what they had to say. And do we want to talk a little bit about?
Well, there's just a couple of key takeaways. David Sinclair has been doing a lot of work at Harvard in his lab, with mice in his lab, and also with yeast. And his studies, his training, his team, what they're doing is they're focusing on promoting or pushing the concept of treating aging as a disease. And he's had numerous breakthroughs. His team and him have had numerous breakthroughs over the last few years in particular. And at the show, he was highlighting some of the things that they expect to be able to accomplish in this year and the year after. One recent one that I had picked up on was the ability to differentiate the cells within a mice so that the senescents, or cells that are old and potentially could lead to cancerous cells, you can differentiate and turn them back into healthy young cells. And that is pretty wild. Yeah. And so the idea of us being able to, also the blueprint, what he points out is the blueprint of being younger or treating aging as a disease is within ourselves, so that he feels that we may be able to, or we can activate and re-engage all of the core or the blueprint of our younger versions of ourselves. Because with aging, and I don't want to cart before the horse, but at the end of the day in aging, we have mutations and things get out of whack. And he feels that we can put it all back into whack.
Back into place.
Yeah. And then Peter Attia was continuing to talk about a lot of his beliefs. One of the things that stuck with me, and I think we shared in our notes, was that the problem or the challenges that we have as a nation of us eating and getting sick through the food that we're eating and the lifestyles that many of us are living is especially when those who have type 2 diabetes or overweight, is that there's multiple organs that are part of the cascading effect, which makes it really hard for people who are already in that world of type 2 diabetes and overweight, obesity, et cetera, have fatty liver disease, et cetera, is that it happens in the gut and in the liver and the kidneys. And he kind of talked through the cascading effect that it has on us, so that when people feel that it's really hard for them to lose the weight or avoid overeating, he was giving us a biochemical example of what's going on within the body, so that you can understand it and maybe be more empathetic, but also help someone go back to the root cause of it and realize that there needs to be a significant lifestyle change. And he promotes that. And he's an extremely intelligent guy, and he goes through so many details with his approach, which I appreciate. A lot of people don't agree with some of his ways that he goes about or some of his conclusions. At the end of the day, he does the research.
Mm-hmm.
And
same with David Sinclair.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They do the research, and really appreciate that and learning from them. And of course, things are changing and we're learning new things. So I never take everything. We don't take things as, hey, this is the end all be all of this solution. This is why these are happening. However, there's a lot of compelling arguments on why we should do different things. And that's what I think we got out of the Peter Attia, is be aware that it's not just overeating, or it's not just the diet per se that will get you. Well, I think I'm screwing that. We'll have to edit that one out.
It's okay.
Anyway.
So I do want to add that if you have not read David Sinclair's book, Lifespan, it's really, really great. And Peter Attia's book, Outlive, amazing. Like I consider it to be sort of like the Bible of longevity. So if you are interested in living a longer, healthier life, Outlive is truly sort of like the Bible of what are the things you can die from, and how can you do certain things now so that you are not declining through those last 4 decades of your life. Right? You're thriving through most of those last 4 decades of your life, but instead of this really slow decline, you sort of like fall off the cliff at the end, right? So that's our goal, right? We don't want to decline. We want to continue to build muscle, be stronger, be healthier. And that is what fostering your longevity is really all about, is how do you continue or even try to live more optimally at these later stages of your life, in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, into your 70s, 80s, and 90s, so that you're still feeling your absolute best and living your best life.
And adding to that, the concept for Peter Attia is perspective. He challenges the status quo that Hayley had mentioned of living your best life now because later you're just going to be bedridden and hurting. He says, all right, look at it from a long-term perspective. If you want to be able to benefit or experience and enjoy your kids, your grandkids potentially, depending on how long you're able to live, there's a different way to approach it. So maybe not necessarily doing HIIT as much as, or high intensity interval training every day, maybe doing a little bit of high intensity work, doing more mobility work, more strength work, maintaining, as Hayley mentioned, the muscle mass. He gives you this perspective of, if you want to be a super strong 80-year-old, do these things now when you're 30, 40, 50, 60. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, ultimately what the book really drives home. And as Hayley had mentioned, kind of the different things that you can do to be able to promote that.
Yeah. We also got a couple of minutes with Dave Asprey. We're going to share the long version of that interview on YouTube. You'll be able to see the short version of it on Instagram and other social media channels. He was so gracious and kind to give us some of his time and really give us his perspective, which I found really interesting.
I think it's important to share also, Dave, back when we first met him in Dallas, it was right after our daughter had an aneurysm. And for those who don't know, she's crushing it. She's doing great. Awesome. No problems there. Thank God. Okay. And Dave was very helpful. She had just come out of the hospital at the time, and we were asking and questioning, what could we do to help give her the best possible chance for the best possible recovery? And he took time aside, and he went through his recommendation, what he would do if God forbid someone that he loved and was close to him, I was having a similar situation. And so that connection, we don't know Dave that well. We've met him only a handful of times, but he's been very genuine and helpful. So a lot of props and appreciation to him for taking the time, not just then, but again at the A4M Longevity Fest.
And his lovely girlfriend, Christina, who
cool.
has she's a ray of sunshine every time we see her. Yeah. We really appreciate her. Okay, so I want to just quickly touch on some of the brands that we love, that we found these guys at the biohacking event, at Dave's biohacking event in May, and we've seen them at every show since. This is called the Leela Quantum. It is basically charged energy balls in here that you can hear. And they're charged with energy, and this is supposed to kind of sort of help you feel more balanced, as well as to block the bad EMFs that come from all of the devices that we are surrounded by. So we wear them. We saw so many people walking around with them at A4M. It was crazy. It almost felt like you were kind of in a cult. You knew the people that were at this show. Even if you were out at night, people were still walking around wearing these, which we wear them all the time. So we highly recommend and love them. I've recommended them to so many people. I can send you the link if anyone is interested in them. But a couple of other companies that I really just want to touch on, our friends at Young Goose, Amitai. They are a skincare line. We met them at biohacking, saw them again at Eudaimonia, saw them again at this event, and his product is really great. There's an interview with him that's coming out in the next couple of days. Some of the other ones were Dr. Vibe, who has a vibrating bed that tunes your nervous system and helps you feel more regulated. We've done it multiple times and love it. We also love the Pulse PEMF bed. That was like an incredible experience. I saw them at Eudaimonia, got on the bed. I had I have muscle issues in my left side. And I went to Eudaimonia with a bad toothache, and I felt the energy. So basically what it does is it puts energy throughout your body to the places that need it the most. And so I felt this energy go up into the root of my tooth while I was on the bed. And I haven't had a toothache since. And my shoulder, which has been, it actually goes down into my elbow, has been bothering me for a while, that I actually felt the spasming from the bed in that shoulder, and it has been so much better since. So you can actually look them up online. It's Pulse PEMF, and you can find a bed near you or a chair near you. You can do like a location search. Therasage, we love Grant, and we love the founders of Therasage. Both of them, all great, beautiful people. Everyday Dose was there, which is the mushroom coffee that I put in my coffee daily. So it's like a little bit more of a little added adaptogens and some more collagen, and it's a little bit more coffee into my coffee, but it keeps me kind of stable and I don't have a coffee crash. Our friends, when we mentioned earlier, Wasabi Method, Noah, Aeon, which is, they also sell these.
They have a bunch of modalities. Yeah, great people.
Yeah, really great people.
Really interesting.
Yeah, Danger Coffee was there, of course, which is the coffee we drink daily. We love it. That's Dave Asprey's coffee. It is mold-free, mycotoxin-free. It's actually enhanced with some minerals, again, to not have a bitter taste, to help without having the crash, and to give you sort of that like energy all day without the crash. And then
Wasabi, like you had mentioned earlier, who are awesome to give us an opportunity to donate some of our time into helping out, being a part of the Wasabi experience, and being part of their booth. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And that really kind of wraps it up. I think one of the other, just sort of add this on, is what we continue to see at these shows are really the stress of the importance of hydration, which is really key. We met a couple of new hydration companies. Vibration, which is really amazing, whether you're standing on a plate, laying on a bed, doing it on some part of your body. Vibration is a really great way to help your nervous system to relax. oral hygiene. We saw a lot of companies that were selling oral supplements because your microbiome in your mouth is almost as important as the microbiome in your belly. And what else? What were you going to add?
I was going to add that throw all this stuff aside is the important thing, as these are awesome to help you focus on something specific that you may be concerned with, like Haley's tooth or shoulder or body part, or anxiety or stress or use. But really, the going back is one of the underlying things I think we remind ourselves of, and a lot of our friends do, is go back to the diet, go back to the exercise, and go back to sleep. And all the other things are just going to help you raise higher. But if you don't do those things, these may not be the best approach,
right?
At least in our opinion and what we've observed. So I remind people, like, these things are fantastic. We enjoy them. And if you believe it, it works, right? And then when it comes to all the other things like wasabi is fantastic if you have an injury or you have a nagging problem or you have scar tissue or all these different things within your physical body. It will help break them up. It'll help circulation. It'll help mobility. And it helped me a great deal the first time we tried it. All of a sudden, I was able to, my back pain was gone within a minute or two. These are awesome. It just doesn't take the place of doing everything else.
Yes, 100%. And so I'll do a little shameless plug here is some of the things, all of the things that we share in our Fostering Longevity School is all about these modalities. But first and foremost, as Brian mentioned, it's about how to eat healthy and real clean food, how to prime your body to get those 7 to 8+ hours of sleep a night, and what are some of the exercises that you could be doing or should be doing at these ages to keep your body primed for longevity. And so we're sharing all the longevity tactics within our school. The link is in our Instagram bio. We'll put it in the notes underneath the YouTube if anybody is interested in joining us in 2025.
And we're doing an event. We're co-hosting one with Bioculture in November of 2025 that'll bring together some of the, all of the pillars of what we just talked about: sleep and exercise and nutrition, and then adding into it the natural approach. So sunlight, grounding, all the things, incorporating breath work, temescal, different types of healing, music, etc. And we're bringing together people that are like-minded who really want to, no matter what you do in your lifestyle, no matter what you do 9 to 5, this type of retreat or this type of event, we feel can impact and help anyone who's interested and motivated to bring more longevity to their lives and a more optimal way to live and a healthier way to live.
Yep.
So more of that information too we'll be sharing as we'll be there as well.
Yep. All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching and drawing.
And drawing.